Hello and welcome to tonight's show.
And hello and welcome to episode 179 of On the Bench, the podcast for modelers by modelers, all about scale models. This is our final episode for season 7 as we move forward into the new year. It's been a fantastic year, and I'd like to do a huge shout out to all of our wonderful Patreon supporters who have helped support us throughout the year. Of course, if you too would like to help support the show, you can do so by going to www.patreon.com/onthebench and pledge as little as $1 per month. All your contributions greatly help with the hosting and production costs of the show, and of course are greatly appreciated by all the boys here.
Hi, I'm Scott, the creator and owner of the Scale Modeler Supply, Australia's largest manufacturer of hobby paints. Our premium airbrush-ready acrylic lacquer paints are designed specifically for use on plastics, with a comprehensive range covering all popular modelling subjects including military, aircraft, rail, auto, sci-fi and more. And not only that, but we also have a wide selection of essential hobby tools and now, Infinite Colour, our new range of water-based paints for miniatures. So to check out our range and to find your closest retailer, please visit our website at scalemodeler.com.au. So when quality matters, choose SMS Paints.
And hello and welcome to the show. And in the studio I have Ian.
G'day Dave, g'day Julian,
And
good morning and g'day listeners.
Of course got Julian here as well.
Yep, good morning.
Morning gentlemen, and welcome to our last show for 2023.
Merry Christmas.
The end of season 7.
Yep,
Next episode will be the beginning of season 8.
I thought we were on 8.
No, we're on season 7, so season 8.
We've been doing it for so long I've forgotten.
We've been doing it a long time.
Yes.
So because it's right, Julian. So we're just going to be doing a bit of riffing for this show.
Yeah, it was just a general chat.
Yeah.
I think you need to do one of these once in a while.
And, maybe have a look at what 2023 was like for us and have a look at what 2024 possibly is going to be, as well as touching a few other subjects as well.
Yeah, well, knowing us, we'll go off on some tangent and
No doubt.
and end up prattling on for about 20 minutes about a subject we didn't think we were going to talk about.
Well, first of all, news is that we are now fully up and running on YouTube. So you can go to YouTube and get all of our episodes now. They're all listed there.
Mind you won't see our faces.
You won't.
Thank God for that.
There's there's a lot of On the Bench podcasts.
Yeah, I
out
know.
there.
Yeah.
They're all a bit like...
Turns out a bench is
So to find it
pretty common
easy,
thing,
don't put any gaps in between the words on the bench.
Yes.
Well,
Have
if
it
you're
as
familiar with the
one
logo,
word.
you'll find it.
Yeah. That's good. But there's about 30 people who've already subscribed, which is really cool. So,
awesome.
yeah. Let me tell you, it was a painful process of getting it organised.
Oh, really?
Well, YouTube do have a section for podcasts now, but it's not intuitive because they're a video sort of format. And then you can go through this process of proving who you are and all this sort of stuff. And it's funny, Mike from Plastic Model Mojo, he and I were sort of exchanging sort of issues, because apparently all their episodes are sort of on, but they don't sort of line up one after the other sequentially or something. So
so they don't number their episodes? Or?
no, they do, but when it appears on YouTube, the listing is sort of not
all jumbled.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. Ours turned out all right. So cause I think I did something slightly different. But anyway, it's there now if you want to listen to us while you're on your bench and you can't get access to any other forms of podcasting. You can now go to YouTube and find us there, which is
that's awesome. Well
pretty
done, Dave.
darn cool. Yeah. So guys, how's your fortnight been, Ian? What you been up to?
Oh, Mainly working and getting Christmas stuff ready. So got a few hours on the bench, just basically doing some cleaning up on one of your model kits. And
Yep.
What model kit?
I just got back doing a bit of cleaning up on the Spitfire. Just got a couple of bits to glue up before I can start painting it. Went to see our good friends at the Hobby Man on Thursday and got a text message from them saying a large order had come in for me. So I was like, ooh, cool. Got down there. It was 11 Copper State model figures.
Jeez.
So there was a few $100 worth of figures there in one hit.
Yeah.
So and they sold me another 5.3 centimetre Gruson Farpanzer, really at cost price, which was very generous of them, because I wanted another one for the idea I've got for when I finally build it.
Yep.
Besides doing a little bit of modelling and spending money, that was about it. I'm hoping, now I'm officially on holidays till the 2nd, so I'm hoping to actually get a fair bit of bench time down. I've got a few projects I want to try and knock over the head that have been languishing this year because my year's build's been, I think 1 or 2 kits and that's it.
Funny, I've the same this year. This has been a really slow year for me. I don't know what it is with me. I don't know.
But I'm planning on getting a bit more done. I was hoping the DDA car kits would be out before Christmas, but apparently they're still stuck on the docks.
Okay.
Because I'm really hanging to get hold of the XW and XY GTs.
Yep.
The Australian Ford Falcon GTs.
Yep.
Yeah, I noticed.
Because Scott Taylor's just dumped, I think it's 6 colours.
Yeah.
Factory Ford colours.
Yep.
Yeah, I did notice that. That's what I was going to say.
I want to do the XY. I want to do in polar white. Oh, sorry, the XW in polar white. And do the XY in the the vermilion fire. Every colour, every GT is basically painted vermilion fire.
I try to avoid doing cars in white. I haven't done one yet because
yes, you have that little.
I don't see that as white.
What colour is it?
That's kind of like a cream colour, really.
Oh right, okay. It's got yellow in it.
Yeah. I mean, it's like an off-white. It's a racing white.
Right.
It's not white like a sheet of paper.
Yep.
That's just when you see.
Yeah, the good thing about
models,
white,
I don't think it the glossiness just doesn't come out.
The good thing about white is it hides flaws.
Hides flaws?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
You crazy talk. What are you talking about? No.
Because the actual colour white, because it's so glary.
Wait a second. White is not a colour.
It's shade.
Oh, come on. For the purposes of this conversation, it's
we'll
a colour.
go colour. Seriously. What same as if you, for example, you know someone who's a bit rough with their car, and you're buying them a new car, get them a white one because it's going to hide a lot of little dings and scratches and
I would say that silver hides it more.
Oh no!
And I know because I own a silver car, and there's so many chips on my car. Let me tell you.
Yeah, blue's not good for that. Blue shows everything, and black's one of the worst colours. Black shows up so much.
90 Mazda paint.
Yeah,
it's not. That's not so good. There's so many paint chips in my car, but they don't go through to the metal. They just go through all the paint
into the undercoat.
Yeah, something like that, because it doesn't rust away or anything, and there's no rust. So it's not that deep. It's just like it's things
superficial marking.
Yeah, things. I think it's like things like my like a bag that's just bumped up against the car and things like that. It's all on the driver's side. It's all on my side.
Well, what does that tell us?
Yeah, I know.
Well, you could always tell if someone was had a habit of drink driving. Just look at their key lock. Yeah. If you see lots of scratches and dings around the key lock, this guy's been a bit inebriated at times.
How are you, Julian? How's your fortnight been?
Not too bad. I mean, like these car molds are pretty. Like the good detail, these Hasegawa kits that I work on, but there's a lot involved. Lots of little parts, lots of things that you need to square away, and it's all very sequential. Like you sort of have to go, I'd love to be able to like put that in, but I can't until I get this part in and this part on that one, and it's like and it's like a long path.
Yeah,
so it's not like major sub assemblies.
I tell you what, building aircraft is so simple by compared to these models. It's so easy.
Yep.
Because, within the first day, you've got the cockpit
Oh, yeah,
together.
pretty much done, yeah.
You hose that thing down with green or whatever the cockpit color is, and then it's just a whole bunch of decals and detail painting, and then you can close up that fuselage, and then your biggest hurdle is making sure you don't have ghost seams.
Yes.
But then once it's all together, you just get to work on the paint and decals, and it's very straightforward. Like you can see the finish line like just a few steps up the road kind of thing.
Yep.
Whereas with these, like you think that like these car models, car models, there's no construction, it's all one piece body. But no, I wish it was that easy. It's like the number of times I have to go back and paint a model because I've burned through the paint trying to polish and.
Yeah, I remember you telling me that a few times, yeah.
Always takes like 3 times longer than you think it's going to take.
So you usually use SMS, don't you, for your car?
I try to, because every time I like stray off into like
Do you undercoat?
Yes.
What do you use for undercoat?
Mr. Surfacer.
Ah, cool.
Yeah.
Do you polish that first and then put your paint down and then polish that?
I have. And then I haven't, and it doesn't really seem to make that much difference in the end.
I remember it was, a couple of months ago, you came hopping up to me. You were so proud because you'd undercoated it and polished the undercoat, and it was smooth as glass almost.
Yeah.
Hey, look what I've done.
Yeah, I've tried it both ways, right? Because like there's a school of thought that says, you should
scuff it.
Yes.
So let the paint adhere. Let the paint actually grab hold of it.
Well, I mean, not so much that because I paint with lacquers anyway. It's going to hold.
Yeah, well, that's right. It's a chemical reaction.
Yeah.
It's not laying a layer on top of another layer. It's like bonding
and
it.
Like there's a myth that says, well, not myth. I mean, there's like different. I would call it like competing schools of thought, like saying, you should be polishing, or at least like sort of knocking down and like seeing to the surface of every single layer, so that by the time you get to the end, you don't have that much work to do on that polishing, that clear coat. But I don't know. Maybe I'm probably doing something wrong, and it doesn't like stack up that way, because it always seems like I've just got the same amount of work at the end. It's hard to say. One thing that I don't like to do though is if I have to polish, because I'll polish like mistakes like hairs and things like that out of the out of the paint, the color part of it before the clear coat goes on. But then I'll do I'll still go over that again with some more paint before I hit it with the clear coat, because you got scratches and things and things from the polishing process will stay there and then forever be like immortalized underneath that clear coat.
Yes, which you don't want.
And you won't realize it until you've got all the way through your polishing of your clear coat, and you're like, what are these scratches I can't seem to get out?
Yeah, I had a similar thing when I did me ancient Hasegawa 32nd scale Boeing, what was it, F4B4 biplane with the yellow wings. And I painted up yellow, and it was a nice naval aircraft. They were kept pretty clean at that time from my knowledge. So I gave it a light clear coat and finished it up. And I was really happy with the way it looked. 6 months down the track, I was doing a clean in my cabinet and picked it up, and I noticed on the top wing, I don't know how I didn't see it, there was this tiny little black hair thing, like a little follicle that was underneath the clear coat. It's like, you know what? I haven't noticed it in 6 months, so it's staying. I'm not going to pull it out and start unrig it and go back to scratch. But yeah, as Julian said, you got to be careful. You got to really,
you know what,
go over everything. Get out like angle. I always want just different angles. Look at the different angles so it can pick up.
I'm going to buy one of those Tamiya anti-static brushes, and I'm just going to keep it with all my airbrush stuff.
Okay.
So that I can just dust everything down before I lay down paint.
That's a good idea.
Very good idea.
Yeah, I've got quite a few models, from before I started doing cars.
You paint in your garage, though, don't you?
Yeah, that's right. But it's also like, because I'm in the house, and I'll have like models sitting around on tables and things, right? And they gather dust.
Of course.
And then you're like, okay, when I get home from work, I'm going to paint this thing. And you get home, you grab that thing, you go out to the garage, and it's still got that dust on it. And you're overzealous, and you start laying down paint. You're like, oh no! It looks like Chewbacca now.
I think I've said it before, but I keep meaning to get one of those those machines that circulates the air in your house.
Humidifier.
No,
it's kind of just like
an air purifier.
Air filter.
Oh, yeah.
I keep meaning because I haven't found one that's a decent price yet. And there's the other thing too. I guess if you get one, you've got to have it running all the time to do its job to get rid of the dust out of the room. So I'm thinking, oh, geez, I don't like that running all the time, 24/7. So yeah.
Other way, or a cheaper way around it would buy yourself some plastic tubs.
I just put everything under a plastic tub.
Yep.
Yeah.
And when you finish for the day, put it in the plastic tub, put the lid on.
Yeah.
When you're not working on it.
I don't even do that. I just put like pieces of paper over things.
Yeah, that'd be enough.
I usually just grab it off the bench, fire up the airbrush and just blow the dust off it. And
give it a spit.
I've got a very big soft brush and I'll just give everything a soft brush and have a good look. Yep, no dust on it. Working.
After I've laid down my clear coats, I do make sure that there's like a physical barrier above my model.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, while it's drying.
Yeah. Usually I have because I've got those very tall bottles of thinner from Guns.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I've got a number of those, and I'll just have like 4 of those in like a, like a square, and then I'll just throw like the lid of the box of the model that I'm working on over the top of it.
So your preference is SMS paints for painting. What's your preference for clear coats?
For clear coats,
yeah,
Guns.
Okay.
Guns Super Clear 3. The GX100 stuff.
And do you polish your clear coat, or it's just you paint and you polish first?
No,
and put the clear coat on?
Definitely polish the clear coat. Polishing the other ones is optional.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And like when you polish,
I would have thought you'd aim for a mirror finish on your paint first before you put down your.
As long as it's clean.
And like I said, so for example, one of the bodies I painted recently was that Ferrari 250 GTO that I bought, and that's in Italian red from SMS Paints. But I found that when I polish the paint, the red paint, it goes from the red that it properly is, and it takes on a sheen. Right. Like if you polish that down, the top layer of the paint is not the same as once you start polishing into it, and it turns like a tomato. It has that sort of slight orangey glaze to it.
All right.
You know what I mean? Like we know when you hold a tomato.
And
you look.
Yep.
Yeah. It turns that sort of a thing. So after I had to polish out all the sort of like spot polish imperfections out, like here's a hair that got trapped in there. There's a part that's not quite flat. Once I got that, I then did a light coat of red again over those areas before I threw the clear coat on. Because it's an actual physical change in color.
Yeah,
and I don't want that.
So for you to get the high shine that you aim for with your cars, you're relying on the clear coat to achieve that.
Oh, for sure. Because like all paints are going to like behave weird and things once you start polishing the paint. I'm sure there's some that don't, but I don't think that there would be any brand that would be like that across the board. Because every different color is a different challenge for chemically speaking, isn't it?
Yeah. And I guess too, the way, if you sort of get down to the microscopic level, the way the pigments sit on the paint on the kit, and if you're polishing it, you're changing the way they orientate.
Yeah, I guess you definitely like there would be layers to it, I suppose.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you, Dave?
Oh, as I said, I've had a very sort of slow year. I've finished 2 kits. I think I finished 2.
I'm still waiting on you to paint that car body.
I'm still waiting to even open the plastic on that. So I've done a ICBM, and I've done. There's another kit I'd finished.
Did you do a Space 1999?
Yeah, I thought I finished that last year. Maybe I finished that this year. Dunno. And I've got a whole heap of kits that I've started this year. Probably about
Me too.
4 or 5. But I don't know. It's just been a really odd year for me at the bench this year. And I can't put my finger on it. It's not like I've been super busy that I haven't had time to do it. It's just been... You know what? I feel undisciplined this year. I really do. I feel undisciplined in that. When I go into the model room, I sort of faff around a bit and come out without really having done much. It's been, I don't know what it is. It's just very odd. And I'm wondering whether I need to sort of become a bit more disciplined next year. Well, I do know what I want to achieve next year, but we'll perhaps talk about that later. But yeah, it's just, and I haven't bought anywhere near the amount of kits that I normally buy as well. I think I probably count them on one hand, the amount of kits I've bought this year. So it's been
bought
a
few.
Really, really odd.
Well, I've completely run out of storage space. Again.
You know what? I think part of the sort of motivation towards finishing a kit comes from the buying. So if you buy a kit and it sits in your stash for a long time before you start building it, I think it's a less... there's less momentum to things, right?
I totally agree, because I know for a fact the last probably 3 or 4 kits, maybe even more, that I've built, I've either gotten my hands on or purchased and then got stuck in straight away. And then other kits I've bought for collections have just gone into the stash.
Yeah, I mean, like the two big spikes in like enthusiasm for a kit are A, when you buy it, and B, when you finish it, right?
Yeah.
I suppose three if you count like starting the kit, because starting the kit's always fun. You like crack everything open. At Christmas time. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, it helps if you've got like the highest point of like motivation, which is when you've bought it and you just rip into it, right?
Yes.
Well, talking about
because like the worst thing is when you've bought a kit, it's in your stash, and you've moved on to a whole different genre of models, right? Yeah. And then you have to go back to it, and you're
guilty.
Like,
guilty.
Yeah.
I've got so many 144th scale aircraft sitting in there that I just.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
That's how I feel about all of my armor and aircraft and so many things.
Yep.
It's like,
Well, there is a I saw popped up in my feed today. There's a swap and sell in February locally, so maybe we should get together and hire a table, Julian, and flog off all the stuff we're never going to build.
Jeez, I've bought so many car kits you wouldn't believe.
I'll probably have some fair few things to throw on the table.
My stash has never been so full.
Yeah, it's bursting at the seams. In fact, I've even migrated in the cupboard in the recording room here. There's some models that are stashed away in there now. But we were talking about how I've been slow building this year, and I was watching a movie the other day, and oh my god, talk about getting my creative juices flowing. It's called, and funnily enough, the movie's called The Creator. Which if you haven't seen it, go and see. If you love sci-fi, this thing will blow your mind.
You're in the mood for sci-fi, are you?
Well, I'm always in the mood for sci-fi, but this really, and I was sitting there watching it. So the movie's it's kind of it's a mix between Blade Runner, Elysium, a little bit of Apocalypse Now. There's some real Chris Foss sort of flavours to the spaceships.
Oh, really?
And I'm just sitting there, my jaw's just on the ground, and I'm going to go back and watch it again today. As long as I've got some time to do it. I'm going to sit back and watch it again because it was just jaw-dropping. Some of the, the hardcore science fiction to the space stuff there. The big US Army tanks, which are the size of a city block as they roll through a village somewhere in New Asia. The atmosphere was just fantastic. I just loved it.
Don't give away the storyline.
Well, I'm not, but it was just brilliant. And
like I know exactly this feeling. I mean, obviously, I consume a lot of science fiction just sort of in my interests. Lots of video games I play. Maybe I see a lot of concept art. On Instagram. Yep. And I see this stuff, I'm just like, I want to build that as a model. I want to build that right now. I've never had a go at sculpting anything with epoxy sculpt, but it makes me want to go out and buy some right now and just do it. And it's like, no, I'm knee deep in cars. Well, not knee deep. I'm like throat deep in cars at the moment. So it's like, what can I do?
But that's what's making. I think 2024 is going to be such an exciting year, particularly if you like sci-fi or like, because you got all this stuff that's coming out on TV that's going to be mind blowing. You've got what's the one about World War II flying? Oh gosh. Masters of the Air.
Masters of the Air. Well, that's not sci-fi.
No, but it's. But hang on, and then you've got Fallout coming out, the series on Fallout.
Well, Netflix just dropped Rebel Moon.
Yeah, well, which I've got to go and watch now that you told me about that, because I didn't realise that was available. So you got all this stuff that's I'm really excited to watch, and I know that will sort of drive me onto sort of wanting to build.
I reckon Fallout, the series, is going to flop.
Do you really
Dum
now?
dum.
Oh, why do you say that?
I reckon people are going to be excited about it, and then people will get like 3 episodes in and go, "This is crap."
If they go the woke agenda, yeah, definitely.
Well, hang on, but Halo has done reasonably well, and that was enjoyable to watch.
Halo,
Yeah.
yeah, okay.
And what's the other TV series? What's that one where they're walking along and he's taking the girl from one side of the US to the other? What's that one called?
Well, I mean, the reason why I reckon Fallout is going to flop is because it's got a big fan base, and so if they don't nail the sort of the heart of that series properly, it's going to turn all those fans off it, right? And B, they recently announced 2 new writers coming onto the show that are coming off of 2 failed series.
What?
I forgot what I remember reading it, and I can't remember which series it was, but they're recent shows that flopped, and those writers, it was very obvious. I recall it was very obviously the fault of the writers, and they'll come across, and then they'll ruin this one too. That's my prediction. I could be wrong, and only time will tell.
Well, I think we're in for a great year for sci-fi stuff and all that, and. Ian and I were talking off mic before about For All Mankind. Now that series is sort of tracked this year.
Yeah,
I thought it was a little bit slow this year.
Mind you, the best parting line of the series to date dropped last night. We're not going to say what it is, because people haven't watched it. But
the best final line.
The final line just nailed it for me. That was like, yep, now they're going somewhere.
Yeah. Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah. Well, let's get back on to modelling.
Well, this is about modelling, because we're talking about what gets our creative juices flowing. And you watch Masters of the Air, when that thing drops, how many people rush out and buy B-17s and Messerschmitts and all that sort of stuff. So there'll be a revival in World War II aircraft building after this show drops. I can almost guarantee that.
Yeah. And
I'm surprised that model manufacturers aren't clued in and thinking, maybe we'll look at timing something.
They might do.
The other thing with regards to Fallout is that there's various, like, there's lots of media out there that is post-apocalyptic, right? There's plenty of them. Like, Planet of the Apes is post-apocalyptic, right? Mad Max. There's a lot of different incarnations of the post-apocalyptic genre, but Fallout is a very unique one. So it's like 1950s.
50s, yeah, isn't it? 50s vibe.
Yeah, it's like a post-apocalyptic version of atom punk genre, right? Yep. So like all the cars in it, all the wrecks of cars, all those cars are supposed to be nuclear-powered cars, right? And the what do you call them? The big.
I've got to get a carbon. I've got to get a carbon rod for my nuclear-powered Studebaker.
And the robots are all sort of the robot suits. What do you want to call them?
Oh yeah. The suits, the armored suits.
Yeah, the armored
suits.
Have. They're
nuclear powered too, I believe.
Yeah.
Well, there's a scary thought.
It's got that sort of real sort of 1950s, 60ish sort of.
Yeah. I mean, it depends on which game you play. So in some games, it's just armor that you equip, like any other clothing, and in others, it's like a vehicle that you step into, like the Iron Man suit.
Right. Yeah. Well, speaking of suits,
and you need
see our good friend Lincoln, who's in Japan at the moment.
Oh yeah.
Met up with the Grand Sensei.
Yes, she did.
And apparently he's been given a prototype. I'm not going to disclose what it is, because it could be under wraps. But
yes.
I'm very excited there, getting a box signed by Cow, which was, he's such a lucky guy.
I think luck has nothing to do with it.
Skill too, and dedication to his craft.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, well, I mean, then there's the, I suppose, the MAK stuff, that's been a big presence lately, hasn't it?
It has. The last 2 years, that's really sort of grown, and there's a whole reason behind that. But that's why I'm saying that things like the moves we were just talking about will sort of make models want to go out and build more, but buy that sort of stuff because it's sort of a similar sort of feel or vibe to it.
Well, I mean, to me, it's very obvious why MAK has taken off very recently. It's because they managed to put themselves, or maybe not put themselves. I mean, part of it is, the podcast sphere, and also Lincoln Wright, and they've sort of aligned themselves with the armor modelers, right? And it's crossed over, cross-pollinated. That's what's done it.
Yeah.
And although he'd probably be reluctant to sort of admit it, but TJ from the posse, he's certainly had a
absolutely
very large influence on it. Whether he sort of realises or not, how many people have gone out on the back of his interest in building it.
Yeah, it's sci-fi for armor modelers.
Yeah.
But
how is that not cool? Come on.
Yeah,
it is. It's cool.
Yep.
Well, I think I need another drink, so let's have a very short break, and we will come back and perhaps have a look at some of listener mail. There's not too much this time around.
Sure.
And I know the Falcon's written in for the last.
Has he now?
We'll have to have a read what he's got. So we'll be back very, very shortly. Okay, and welcome back, and we're having a look at listener mail, and the first one comes from Bart, and he writes, "Hi guys, greetings from Edinburgh. I listened to your latest show on cutters. I've been running a laser cutting business for a few years now. I have been utilising it for the hobby as well. There are 3 types of laser cutting machines on the market at the moment. There's the CO2 lasers, there's a fibre galvo and diode.
Yep.
I use the CO2 one, and it is a versatile machine. It's perfect for cutting and engraving wood, acrylic, leather, paper, etc. The fibre galvo are great for engraving and marking metals, but they, at least for the home use, cannot cut much, if anything.
Right.
Diode lasers are the cheapest, but also the slowest and the weakest. They could be a good idea for cutting masks only. Laser cutters have limitations when it comes to materials possible to cut. Amazing for mentioned wood, acrylic and similar stuff, but there is a big no-no for anything that contains vinyl, so vinyl masks should not be cut at all.
Yep.
This is because burned vinyl releases hydrogen chloride, which is quite similar to chlorine gas.
Ooh.
When I started, I was unaware of that and had been cutting some vinyl stickers. Apart from the poor result, there was a bad stench, so I stopped. The next day, half my face went numb, and I stayed like this for a week.
Oh, no.
Wow.
Quick research showed the connection that gas does harm the lungs as well as the nervous system. Not a nice feeling, I tell you, but it also causes corrosion to metal parts in the machine. So for the masks, I have been using Tamiya sheets with great results. Even a digital camo in 1/72 scale jet for a friend and a great modeler of mine, Z. Laser cutters were also awesome for creating the storage units, paint racks, and also diorama components. And he's posted a picture of some of his work there. If you ask me, I would recommend a laser cutting machine for hobby use. I would have to say yes, but only if you have the space and money for a machine better than the cheap Chinese systems or really bad but well advertised X tools. These are known for their faults and problems. Glowforge is a good choice for hobby use. The process is similar to silhouette cutters, e.g. design, print into the machine and cut. The only problem that could be different materials use different settings, which in case of laser cutters are power and speed. If you have any questions regarding laser cutters, I'll be happy to answer. Keep up the great show. Best regards from Bart.
That's awesome.
That was a nice little sort of
that's one of
overview.
Yeah, and he sent us a picture of one of his products, which is an outhouse. That looks fantastic, actually.
A model outhouse.
Yeah, a model of an outhouse. That looks great.
It's a model outhouse, not a real one.
Okay, next one comes from Ashley Bergruff. G'day. In relation to last week's episode on vinyl cutters, I used the following link to convert between scales for both 3D modelling and mass creation. And if you go to www.scalemodellersworld.com/online-scale-converter-tool HTML, and that gives you a great conversion tool for getting all the different scales.
Oh, that's a handy tool.
You just punch in the scale you want to convert it to, so convert 10 centimetres into the scale or scale your size, and it punches out what it should be. So
that's really handy.
It's a very handy little tool there. So thank you very much for that.
Yeah, thanks, Ashley.
Especially if you're going between metric and imperial.
Yeah. And the last one that we have got, as I said, it's only a very short one, is from Andy, and he writes in, "Hi guys, got this as an early Christmas present for my 9-year-old son. It's a 3 kits in one package for $40, and pretty hard to beat that. He sat in his room all weekend at the bench. Now I have to decide if I want to let him use my Iwata airbrush. He really wants to go to Nats in Madison, as it's only an hour away from us, so maybe we'll see you there. Anyway, I just wanted to wish you all a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year from us in Wisconsin."
Fantastic.
And
so what did
he get him? He got him a 3-in-1, so it's called
Atlantis. It's from Atlantis Hobbies.
Yep, and you get a helicopter,
H-26.
You get a Sherman
25.
tank in 48 scale, and also a PT-207 Mosquito boat in 1:102 scale.
Oh, so
3
Land,
amazing
sea, air.
kits in one package. That's really cool.
Good on him. That's great. He'll have hours of fun with that.
That's a good way of getting the kids all fired up and into it, isn't it? So
find out what genre he takes a shining to.
Yeah. And definitely let him use your airbrush. I wouldn't have an issue with that.
Yeah. And just make sure you keep an eye on him while he's doing it.
Yeah. Or just buy him an El Cheapo one. You can pick up a cheap Chinese knockoff for about $30. It does the job.
Yeah.
So
for a first airbrush, you don't have to get something super expensive.
100%. Finally, Jim Bates writes in, and he said, "You've talked about shows without judging the past, and I run the largest display-only show in the US, and most likely the second biggest show in number of models after Nats. Last year we had 2,440 models on display, and once it actually hit 3,030, but we probably won't do that again. There are only 2 awards. There's a Curator's Choice, which is chosen by the curator, and the Best B17, which is also the curator also picks. Other than that, it is 2 days of model display, exhibition, and just celebrating the joys of modelling, which is pretty cool. So that's Model Mania, which is coming up in 2024, February the 17th to the 18th at the Museum of Flight, which is in Seattle, Washington. So just Google Museum of Flight and you'll be able to find where it is. So there's some seminars there that are going to have seminars on art and craft and scale modelling, both on the Saturday and the Sunday. Saturday there's going to feature a Gundam Make and Take, which is sponsored by I Build Robots. And it looks like a really good idea. And we should really get Jim on just to have a chat about why this seems to be such a successful model display as against your normal everyday modelling. So we'll endeavour to get Jim on in January to perhaps talk about that before.
There's a little photo on there. It looks good.
It does. And, of course, the other bonus, too, it's at a museum. So you're not only looking at models, you're looking at a whole heap of,
It looks like a really modern facility, too.
Yeah, it does. It does. All right. So we'll definitely get Jim on the show and have a chat to him in the early new year. All right.
It almost looks like the Udvar Hazy centre that we went to in...
yeah, almost. But
like nice white, clean floors and lots of windows, natural light coming in on these...
which is exactly what you want for
planes and things suspended up above the ground,
Which is exactly what you want for a model display, a big, light, airy sort of place. So.
Yeah.
100%.
I mean, it's hard to disagree with that.
All right, let's have a look at what the Falcon has to say. All right. The Falcon has written in, "Hi gang, aircraft news. We are learning a tad more about Dragon's new 1/48th scale ME109E. Wow. It will come in a completely clear plastic box so you can see the sprues in all their glory.
That's weird. That's weird.
Well, there will be 4 decal options. This will be gallons, wick, Pingle, and a 2/JG3 aircraft. The now confirmed multi-part canopy is pre-painted, so no tricky masking needed.
Mm-hmm. They just got to try and match your paint to match the pre-painted canopy.
Yeah, the pressure.
No, I don't think the idea is that you don't need to because it's coloured plastic, like a Gundam kit.
Mm-hmm.
So, like for example, the wings are like blue or whatever it is.
Well, let's read on. So the press release talks about pre-coloured and pre-painted parts. We all probably assumed that the pre-coloured parts were just coloured plastic, but they may actually be painted. Kind of looks like they are painted in the photographs. Not unprecedented. As you may remember, Monogram, or was it Revell, were offering pre-painted kits a while back. The upper surface camouflage is supplied as decals. From the looks of it, the model will not require much, if any, paint. Not sure how all of this will go down with the proper modelers, in quotation marks. Pretty clearly, it's aimed at a different crowd. Well...
Yep, I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, they're sort of trying to take a page out of...
to me, it looks like they're just trying to dumb down the hobby.
No, see, I think that is... What they're making is a gateway drug for kids.
Oh, yep.
Right?
And that now explains why the packaging is a clear plastic box so you can see all the painted parts inside.
You know, it just occurred to me like how bad that sounded. No, gateway drug for kids. No, I mean, like, you know what I mean. Like,
Yeah.
They're taking a page out of Bandai's booklet,
Mm-hmm.
and obviously there's a big, kids appeal there where you take something, you don't need to paint things, and then you just have to assemble it, and there you have it. You have a thing that sits on your shelf.
Yeah.
And it works. I mean, kids that they can grapple with painting later.
Well, yeah, I mean, look at the Airfix in their quick build series, which are sort of almost like Legos, I guess. And I mean, we've got one sitting here on the bench, which is a Spitfire that they did. And it's just like clicked together, and the plastic parts are pre-painted as well. So I don't see anything wrong with that. If it's going to sort of widen the hobby and expose it to a new group of a segment of the market.
Oh, of course. I mean, like, it's not like snap together kits haven't been around for a very long time.
Yeah.
But I think people the manufacturers are taking it far more seriously now because Bandai have taken it as far as you can take these sort of things, and obviously it's been very, very good for them. When I was in Japan, I went to all the various hobby stores and things, and if you go to the car section. And a full 50% of it is just the snap-together car kits.
Yeah.
Full 50%.
Pre-painted and everything?
I mean, like, to me, if I saw that here, I would say, who's buying those?
Yeah.
But obviously over there, it's not the same thing.
Yeah.
People are used to seeing it there. I mean, you look at it and you're like, well, it doesn't have black window frames. It doesn't have
see,
lots of
I'm
details
from the
painted
age
in.
that I remember when snap-together kits came together, they were just so low detail, and I think that stigma still sits with me.
Yeah, because you got to break everything down into separate pieces for every single colour, right?
Yeah.
But now we've got the technology to do it.
Exactly, yeah. So now they can up the detail.
Well, go back to the old days of Matchbox with the two-tone colours and sometimes three-tone colours. I mean, they advertised that you didn't necessarily have to paint it. You just slap it together and put the decals on and off you go.
Yeah, it was made for the age where a 12-year-old kid can go down to the corner store, buy himself a Matchbox kit, go home, spend a few hours quickly gluing it together, and run around the lounge room going, boom.
Exactly right.
Well, let's not forget that it all boils down to money, right? And in that time and era, right, it was easy just to churn out pretty crude kits because kids didn't give a crap. And it sold.
Yeah, it's just as kids got older, we started researching, and then we started realising that that's not quite right.
Then we found hobby shows, which again pushed the boundaries even further. But I think the interesting thing about this that nobody's really spoken about is that this is coming from Dragon.
Yeah.
which is, they're not renowned as being sort of a cutting edge sort of leader in new.
Yeah, I don't know about
No,
that.
they were pretty heavy when I think they were probably one of the first to start using slide mold technology.
Well, I mean, I think slide molding is a lot more commonplace than you think it is.
It's a lot older.
Yeah,
slide
but I'm
mold's
pretty
been
sure
around for donkey's years, but it just hasn't been used in the modelling world.
And I'm pretty sure it dragged, because I remember some of the kits I bought, they'd go with new slide mold technology, and no other kit was claiming that at the time.
Yeah, slide mold technology's been around for
Yeah, but see, like
decades.
every car model is slide molded. Every car model.
Yeah.
Every single one. You can't make them without it.
Oh,
it's
that's
not
right.
possible.
Otherwise, you don't get any detail at the
So
bottom of the
it's
kit.
kind of like
No.
it's more like a buzzword, marketing term.
Yeah.
In that sense, at least within armor. But you look at all their different tracks. All the like the fact that you just get a bag full of like track links.
Oh, the Easy
and
Link. Yep.
You don't need to clean any of them up.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. I mean, was it Magic Tracks, is it?
Yeah, Magic Tracks.
Magic Tracks is fantastic.
Yeah, I remember
I
that.
can't believe that Bill in our club used to complain about Magic Tracks.
Yeah.
It's like, well, you want to spend a whole weekend sitting there cleaning up track links?
No, I've done that. I remember when I did me Stug 3. They were all those tracks. That was an early Dragon kit. All those tracks were on a sprue.
Oh,
And there was
stuff that.
over 100 of them. And I had to knock them off and then clean up the seam molds and seam lines. And there was a little bit of flashing in between the holes in the links, and you had to clean all them up. That took days.
Yeah, and they engineered
And it was
them just so they just
mind-numbing work. It was
Yeah.
this is just a drag. But I have to do it.
Yeah, well, that's how trumpeter kits are anyway.
No, I was talking about this was a Dragon kit.
Yeah, I know, but trumpeter kits are like that now.
Yeah.
with their links. Yeah.
Yeah, you get like 10 different sprues and it's all track links. Like
Yep.
Dragon are pretty, technologically advanced,
Yeah.
generally speaking.
Yeah.
I mean, except for until they started cheaping.
Well, another thing,
they started cheaping out, removing the Magic Tracks from the newer boxings.
Another thing Dragon did too is they had like pre-pressed photo etch like gun shields and so forth.
Yeah, they did. And the rubbery plastic.
The vinyl.
Yeah,
plastic.
the vinyl, because they had
Yeah.
like one of the ones I had a raincoat or something.
Yes, I've got that same sprue. Yeah,
Yeah,
a few times I think I've got that.
that's pretty
and
innovative.
boots and so forth.
So Dave, I wouldn't say that they're not innovative or
No, but it just surprised me that Dragon's doing. I would have. This is something I would have expected to come out of another manufacturer. I'm just surprised it's come out of Dragon. That's all. And in some ways, it bodes well for that. The fact that Dragon's still alive and looking to sort of innovate and move forward. So
Yeah,
that's what I'm sort of.
I would say that I would expect this sort of a move from, say, Meng.
Yeah, exactly right. If you had have said, "Oh, this is a Meng kit," it wouldn't have surprised me. But you're saying this is a Dragon kit, it does surprise me.
But you know who I wouldn't expect it from? Hasegawa.
Oh, look, I love Hasegawa kits, but geez, they've become stagnant.
Well, have they though? Because is it just the fact that we're not seeing what they're producing because it's limited to the
when was the
Japanese
last
market?
one? When was the last 148 scale new release aircraft from Hasegawa?
Hasegawa, they're kind of a company that makes very nice kits in the orthodox fashion.
Yes.
Whereas they're not about new materials, really,
or ultra detailed,
or sort of innovative like kit breakdown design.
Yeah.
They just make,
but they're renowned for reboxing the same kit about 1,000 times.
Yeah,
I'm
but
okay
from a
with
manufacturer point of view, why wouldn't you? Because you spent, a couple of $100,000 on the mold.
Yeah.
So you
Get
want
the
to
most out of it.
Exactly right. And as long as you keep touching up the mold and making sure that it's producing a good part, why wouldn't you?
And sometimes like it's preferable. Like I love the fact that like the car kits come in like the skinny old timey wheels, and then like street custom style with
wheels.
actual like nice with nice wheels. You know what? I was watching a YouTube video and someone used the term old timey. I was like, hey, that's my thing right there.
Hey, brother.
All right. Okay, let's move on. So, continuing on. Meng have shown box art and CAD renders for their 135th scale AH-64D Sarif Apache longbow attack helicopter.
That's a long name.
Yeah, it is. This kit features the IAF fuel tanks, Spike air-to-ground missiles, and wing tip radio data link antenna pods. 3 decal options are provided, and you can also get pre-cut masks. The first special edition includes 2 resin aircrew figures, and the kit will be available at Wonder Festival in China over December, February, but the rest of the world will have to wait until August. Gee, that's a long wait between drinks. Azure From have announced some things that they are working on. There will be 2 new versions of their 1/72nd scale Potez 25 kits, and the Renault 12 kD inline engine version of the Samson
And a
Samson.
Samson.
18C MD radial engine variants. Only 700 of each will be produced, so get in quick if you want one. Also being worked on is the 1/72nd scale Douglas DB7, which is the earliest version of the Douglas A20 Boston. The first boxing will cover DB7s in French service. The Azure From 72nd scale Fairy Battle is nearing release and should be available in early 2024. Work continues on the 72nd scale Bloch MB210 French bomber, and one is slated for release in the second quarter of 2024. Dora Wings have shown box art and decals for their forthcoming 72nd scale Volti Vengeance Mark 1. Surprisingly, there are no RAAF options.
Which is surprising because their 48 scale one is just covered in RAAF options.
You got to wonder because, we had we had a lot of those things that we used during the war.
Oh, the one squadron.
No, we had more than one squadron. I think what it is...
Vengeances.
Yeah.
Oh, are you looking up the Block MD? It's an ugly plane, isn't it? It's, French in their greenhouse aircraft.
But it's also, you have to remember that it's also between the wars.
Yeah.
So nothing in that period looks very good.
I thought we had 3 squadrons of
to my knowledge, I think we only had 1.
No. Because they were converted to Liberators after... and we only got the Vengeance because the Yanks didn't like them. The pilots didn't like them. So
we got really good use out of them.
We did, yeah.
We got very good use out of them.
Well, Ian's going to find out how many squadrons
we had, yes.
In the meantime, we'll move on. Trumpeters 135th scale AH-64A Apache helicopter will be available in late February 2024. Some people have asked why anyone would want this kit when there are the excellent Meng and Takem kits also available. Well, the Trumpeter kit is an A model, whereas the Meng and Takem kits are D/Es. The only other AH-64A kit is the old Revell kit, and you would hope that this new kit would be superior. There's certainly a plethora of Apache helicopters coming out.
Yep.
Hobby Boss will release a new variant of their 35th scale Fieseler Storch, the Fieseler FI-156U. The U is an experimental version used to test bomb racks, so don't expect a lot in the way of decal options. Copper State Models have shown very promising CAD renders of their 32nd scale Newport 11, and also the 16, currently under development. They are looking great, so World War I aircraft modelers certainly have something to look forward to in 2024. RS Models will be releasing a 148 scale kit of the Messerschmitt P1101. There will be 3 boxings, each with markings for 2 Luftwaffe and 1 captured example. What's the Messerschmitt P?
Oh, P1101.
Yeah.
Basically, it's like a high-winged version, looks like of an early MiG.
Oh, a jet. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Right, gotcha. Yeah. Okay.
We never saw production, but if it did see production, it would have good chance it could have been a quite decent aircraft.
Miniart have released their 2024 catalogue. The new 48 aircraft releases include a P-47D-28RE Thunderbolt of the Free French Air Force, a P47D-30RA Thunderbolt, both in basic and advanced boxings, and a P47D-30RE Thunderbolt. I've got no idea what those differences are. I guess the R stands for reconnaissance. I don't know.
No, I think it's probably the factory.
Possibly, yeah. Junkers F-13 passenger plane in early production.
Nice.
Another new manufacturer is entering the arena, Aurora Miniatures, which is a Chinese company normally known for their model railroad products. Will release their first aircraft kit, and this is going to be a 72nd scale Nanchang CJ6 trainer. They have shown box art, which is a bit meh, and also CAD renders, and the kit will be released sometime in 2024. Science fiction and fantasy news. Revell will be releasing a 1/12th scale kit of the speeder bike from The Mandalorian. The kit includes Scout Trooper and a Grogu figure in a pouch hanging from the trooper's shoulder. The kit also includes a stand with 2 clear parts, which are supports for the speeder bike. And the Scout Trooper figure is poseable, is a fixed pose, so no articulated joints. While I'm here, let me express what is probably an unpopular opinion. Ooh. I don't like Grogu. I don't like him at all. I think he's a creepy little creature.
Oh, there you go. The
Falcon. The Falcon's really letting go, isn't he?
Yeah.
Military vehicle news. Let's start with the big news. Literally, Andy's Hobby Headquarters announced a 1/16th scale of their M8 Greyhound US armoured car. CAD shows parts for early and late versions. I'm not sure if the parts are optional or if there will be 2 boxings. The kit will come with a US Army figure, and the front wheels are poseable, and all the wheels on the car go round and round and round and round.
Oh, cool.
While we're talking about 16th scale, there's been a little bit of a groundswell from some modelers on social media pushing for a 1/16th scale M113, which I think is a really, really good idea.
Really?
Well, when you
to
consider,
me, that sounds like a toaster.
No. Think it
1/16 scale.
It'd be rough.
About the size of a toaster.
Yeah, and it'd look like a toaster too. Especially if it's got the top,
Think
open.
of how many countries actually operate the M113 or used to operate the M113, and then consider all the little aftermarket things you can add on to change the variants. I think it would be whichever manufacturer decides to do a 1/16th scale.
You'll foray into that scale then?
Well, no, I'd never buy a 1/16th scale. It just doesn't.
Too big.
Yeah, I don't know. But I think that the modelling general public out there are crying out for one. Well, a certain segment of the market is, and I think it'd be a really clever idea. So, if you're listening, Andy from Andy's Hobbies,
M113 for Dave.
Yeah, if you're listening, take Dave's opinion and quietly discard it, because obviously he's not going to buy it. So why would you make it for him?
No, but what I'm saying is there's a huge groundswell of desire out there for it. And, I mean, okay, compare the M8 Greyhound in 1/16 scale to an M113. Which one would sell more? You tell me.
Greyhound. The Greyhound.
Yeah.
You really think so?
Yeah, because there's a lot more other kits they can go with.
What do you mean more kits they can go
Well,
with?
it's Second World War. Most 1/16 scale kits at the moment are Second World War kits.
At the moment.
Yeah.
You're telling me a Greyhound would outsell an M113?
Yes,
I reckon it would too,
I'll tell you why. Because
Wow.
a Greyhound is open top, so there's lots you can see inside it, right?
A lot easier.
Right? You can get to the engine detail quite easily, whereas you can't with an M113, right?
No,
You'd have to open that hatch on the front.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
The sides of it are mostly just flat.
It's
Right?
a box.
It's just a box. As far as a subject
Aesthetically,
that can take advantage of the extra detail that comes with a larger scale, a Greyhound is a much better subject.
Dear listeners, I apologise for my 2 co-hosts. They have both never served, and they've never known the joys of riding in the back of an M113.
What,
fact that
where you can feel the top of your spine going through your skull.
Exactly right. You don't know the joys.
I'll pass, thank you.
You don't know the joys of it pulling up and the back popping down as the commander says D-bus left and he's parked right next to a huge puddle.
See, that's why our opinion is so good, because we're not biased.
Yes.
Please write into onthebench64@gmail.com and express your opinion either way as to whether these two clowns to the right of me are correct or not.
And Julian can make a prediction.
Go for it.
Next episode, Dave's going to be eating Hubble pie.
Oh! Do you want a wager? Put a wager on that?
What do you want to wager?
I don't know.
Make him build another car kit.
No.
He's got his hands full enough.
We're going to think of a good wager.
All right.
Just $20.
$20.
$20.
All right, listeners.
Oh, that sounds a bit boring.
Let's have a poll.
You reckon it's boring, Julian?
No, $20 is boring.
Oh, that's all right. It's just a mate's bet.
I mean, it makes
No, we've got to buy each other a kit.
All right, done. Up to what value?
I know, $80.
All right, done. You can't get much for $80 these days.
You can get a decent amount for $80.
All right, okay.
I'm buying you a freaking Saturn.
All right, done. $80. About a kit up to the value of $80.
Yep. All right. All right. So there you go. There's the wager, Dave.
There's the wager.
So listeners, tell us what you'd prefer, an M113 or the Greyhound.
Wait, so this is a bet between the two of you guys,
Yep.
right? I'm not involved in this bet.
Hang on. You're the loudmouth who sat there poo-pooing the whole idea as well.
Yes, I did, but I'm not engaging in this bet thing because otherwise, if you win, you get two kits, and if we win, what, we're gonna one of us gets a kit and the other one gets nothing?
Well, it's 2 against 1, so it makes sense.
That's just it's easy if you just keep it between two people.
All right, okay.
Right, so the poll's on, guys.
Polls on.
Listeners.
All right.
Right, where were we?
Where were we?
Hobby Boss will be releasing a 135th scale Lend-Lease US GMC truck with Katusha rocket launcher. Time for our fortnightly listing of Dragon re-releases. A 135th scale Tiger 1 late production with Zimmerit Normandy 1944. Kit includes metal barrel, 3D printed muzzle brake, copper towing cables, and magic tracks. As a bonus, you will get the inevitable Michael Wittmann figure. So when are you going to get a figure of Joe Eakins? He asks. 35th scale M4A4 Sherman with 60-pound rockets premium edition. The kit includes 3D printed rockets and launch rails, antenna base, headlight and horn guards and stowage box. Also included is an aluminium barrel with rifling.
Oh, nice.
135th scale Panzer OS FG with turret.
Panther.
Oh, what did I say?
Panzer.
Beg your pardon. 135th scale Panther OS FG with turret roof armour premium edition. Included are magic tracks, copper tow cable. Try and say that 3 times fast. Aluminium barrel with 3D printed muzzle brake and 3D cylindrical stowage tubes. A 135th Bethel's Panther OS FG Premium Edition. Upgrade parts include 3 sets of night fighting sights, copper tow cable, aluminium barrel, 3D printed muzzle brake, plus a 3D printed muzzle brake again. I think he wrote that twice. Mini Art are releasing yet another 135th scale Stuk 3 OS FG Altket production, October 1943 interior kit. We all used to joke about German World War II armour kits being released that were specific right down to the day of production. Well, the joke's on us, as I think it's actually going to happen. Roden, haven't heard much from them in recent times, have shown the marketing options for the new 35th scale Vomag Omnibus 7 OR660. There are 2 options. There's a Deutsche Feldpost early 1940s in green and a Deutsche Reichspost late 1930s in red. Both options have black wheels and front mudguards. IBG have also begun announcing their kits for 2024. First cab off the rank is a 72nd scale Daimler Armoured Car Mark 1.
That'd be tiny.
Yeah, available in winter 2024.
Which is summer for us.
Yeah, as mentioned earlier, Mini Art have released their 2024 catalogue, and military vehicles for the 2024 include, three Stug 3 OS FGs in 72nd scale for March 43, April 43, and May 43. In 35th scale, there is the previously announced BTR 4E APC. It will come in two versions. There's going to be BTR 4E Bolyphilus early production interior kit.
What did you say?
Bushphilus?
Bushphilus.
There you go.
Okay.
This one has
Sounds kind of rude, doesn't it?
It does. This one has slat armour, and there's going to be a BTR 4E late production interior kit. There is a new civil boxing of the G506 1.5 tonne panel delivery truck.
Mm-hmm.
Two new boxings of the Tempo A400 Lieferwagen 3D wheel truck.
No, not 3D, just three-wheel truck.
Oh, yeah. Did I say three-wheel truck?
No, you said 3D.
All right, three-wheel truck, which is a bakery van and a beer delivery van. I thought that's already been out before. Oh, it's this new boxing of it. That's
Yep.
Okay.
Do the beer one. It's cooler.
35th scale accessories range comes with a lathe machine. There are two completely new 35th scale vehicle kits. One's going to be a German 3-ton cargo truck, which is a 3.6-365 Prish normal, or for the rest of us known as an Opel Blitz truck. And what I personally thought was the most interesting is a US Army M3 light tank initial production, because we all like tanks, don't we, folks? There will be two versions of this kit, with interior and without interior. Mini Art are also going to get mileage out of the M3 light tank. So many variants, so many users. It will take years to work through them all, just like the Opel Blitz. It's not all that we can expect from Mini Art. They announced plenty of kits during the year, so they were not listed in the current catalogue. I think that's it all for this year. Wishing happy holidays to all the listeners out there from the Falcon.
Thank you, Falcon.
Man,
And-
I'm going to say that was a bit of a drag. that was just nothing but numbers, letters, and German words the entire time. I salute you for having to. It's like an obstacle course for your tongue, Dave.
It was.
But
You did well.
Thank you. Thank you.
So Steve Tacom's released a silhouette. Apparently Tacom's doing a ship kit.
They are doing a ship kit.
Don't know what it is.
Ship kit, and I do know what it is.
Oh, you do you?
I do.
I couldn't figure out from
do.
the silhouette. It looked like something modern.
It's a Russian frigate, the
Right.
Admiral something class of frigate. So it's a modern Russian one. But also in other news, there's a Nimitz class carrier. I beg your pardon. No, there's not. There's a trumpeter doing a release of the USS Midway CVB 41. So that looks very, very exciting. So, And also, I need to do a huge thank you for the Falcon for all the work he's done during the year.
Thanks, Falcon.
It's not easy piecing together all that info and sort of chasing it up. So, well done, mate, and thanks very much.
I'm sure he gets a kick out of making things difficult for you to read
Oh,
out.
definitely. Definitely.
You don't believe he does it on purpose, do you?
Oh, yeah.
I think it's very, very possible. Like, knowing the Falcon and knowing how many German words were in there, like it would not surprise me if he looked up the technical German name for some of these vehicles just to throw that in there as an extra speed bump for you.
No, he wouldn't do that. he's a nice guy. I know him personally. He wouldn't do that to me.
Yes, we can laugh.
Have you guys got any new kits?
No.
Okay.
No,
Not
not
really.
nothing that I can remember.
Look, nothing that I would say is worthwhile. So, when it comes to Gunpla, right, and we don't really sort of mention all the kit releases of that Well, we don't. So straight up, we don't mention any of the kit releases of that sort of stuff here.
Yeah.
Because frankly, even someone like me who might have an interest in it,
Trying to keep up with all the new stuff.
no, it's like you would have to have like knowledge of all the different series, and they do things like, for example, they brought if you go to the Gundam base in Korea, they are selling a 20th year anniversary of the Gundam base store being in Korea.
Yeah.
It's a kit specific to that store, so you have to go to that store to buy it, and you go there, you buy it, and it comes with decals that or something that have like Gundam base, so it's like GB20 written on it, and it's got some Korean.
Right.
And they'll do another one for like the one in Taiwan, and one for China, and one for whichever store. And it's like, well, it's not the same thing as like what we've been just reading out, where it's like, okay, here's a different boxing for a different vehicle or a different variant. Instead, it's just like, now we've reboxed this, and we've just slapped a celebration of a store.
Yep.
Oh, right. Yep.
So it's like, is that even worth like keeping up with? I wouldn't think so. So even if you were the type to keep up with that sort of thing, it's not really important, is it?
So I just double checked, and yes, I was right. It's the Admiral Gorshkov is the class of frigate is the one that TACOM's going to be producing. So
Cool.
I wish I had done another subject rather than the Russian one, but it's good to see them sort of dipping their toe into 1/350 scale ships.
Yeah.
So it's a positive.
What haven't they done yet? Have they done aircraft? They've done armour.
Done science fiction.
They've done science fiction. They've done cars.
Yeah.
'Cause didn't they do the Formula One car? Was that TACOM?
Oh,
Or was that Mung?
That was me.
That was me.
Oh, okay.
Oh, right.
Still innovative company, so it's good to see.
Have you noticed that this is a trope now where they do the silhouette thing?
Yeah,
We're going to
TACOM,
release this.
Yeah, TACOM does it, yeah. Here's a silhouette as a teaser.
Yeah, but I mean, anybody with half a brain can sort of figure out what that is pretty quick.
Really? I had no idea. I knew it was a ship. I knew it was modern, but don't ask me what class it was.
Well, the radar gives it away on top, sitting up there. So,
Well, Lincoln thought it was a Gundam, right?
no, he didn't. He was only joking.
Really? He was joking?
Yes, he was. He didn't really think it was a Gundam.
I thought it was a Gundam.
No, well, I wouldn't put that past him. Okay,
Yeah,
so
I mean, it's very obviously a ship.
Something came in the mail this week, didn't it?
yes, what came in the mail?
Round thing.
Oh, yes. So, we finally got our challenge coins printed and have arrived. And in fact,
They look great.
They arrived yesterday. So I just need to organise a way to set up a way for you guys out there to get your hands on purchasing one. And once I've got that figured out, they'll be up and running very soon. So they're a really cool coin, and we're really excited about how they turned out.
Yes.
And yeah, can't wait to sort of show you guys. In fact, we'll post some pictures later on, I think.
Yeah.
Yep. The other thing I wanted to talk about is I went and popped into one of our new hobby stores that have opened up here in Melbourne.
Yep.
I dropped into Hobby Heaven, which...
And where is Hobby Heaven in Melbourne?
Camberwell, I want to say.
Yes, Camberwell.
And I popped in during a weekday, and it's predominantly aimed at the Gundam market.
Right.
So
It's in that part of the city.
90% of the kits are Gundam. There's a small section of cars. Probably 95% is Gundam, actually. There's probably 4% cars, and there's 1% Aussie armour in there, aimed at those who got interested in Aussie armour.
Yep.
But I spoke to Steve, the owner, and we had a long chat. I think I was there for about half an hour, sort of talking to him. Just talking about how things are in the hobby world at the moment, and his business is going great guns at the moment, and it's really refreshing to see another bricks and mortar store opening up.
Yes.
So I'm just really excited about that, and of course I couldn't leave without buying a few things. So
No, what'd you pick up?
I got that little vice, the Spay vice that Julian poo-pooed.
Oh, the one you got to tighten up using an Allen key.
No, I don't need an Allen key to tighten up.
No, it's just not a ball vice like the one I just bought.
Yeah.
So I recently bought the U-Star ball vice, and it's got a little knob on the side for you to tighten and loosen the vice, and the whole thing rolls around so that you can angle things to whichever way is comfortable. It's quite nice.
So going back to Steve, he's got some great ideas for the store, which is going to be interesting in the year coming. So, watch your space, and hopefully we'll be able to do some announcements.
Oh, very cool.
On top of that, we've got an exciting year for 2024 planned at the moment. We've got some good ideas where we're perhaps going to take the show to, so it won't just be sort of necessarily stuck in the studio all next year. So Ian's working on that in the background, so I'm pretty excited about that one if it comes off. I'm of course heading over to Madison next year.
Yes.
And going via Japan both ways, so it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm by myself. So I haven't got you two sort of hanging on my coattails as I go scooting around the world.
Unsupervised, that's not a good idea.
And I was really thinking also about what I need to do to sort of change my style next year. And what's really evident in my model making...
You mean the style of the models you're making?
Well, it's not the models... No. Is as to how I sort of finish things. So what's been really apparent to me watching or looking at model shows from around the world is, and a big thing that I certainly don't do, is the base of the model.
Right.
Is just as important. And I never normally do bases. I just
just build the model.
I just build the model
and just set the model on your shelf.
Yeah, and I think I've got to get more into doing the base, because the base plays an equally important part in the display of the model.
Yes, it is context.
Yes, it's context, which is something I don't really do. I mean, for example, with your cars, do you ever sort of pose them on tarmac, or you just build them and that's it?
Yeah, I just build them and that's it. I could be convinced to do, like, especially if I could, if I already had nailed down a way of doing the road itself, I would consider, actually, you know what? To be honest, I would much rather build a backdrop to photograph them in, rather than just a base for each one.
Yeah.
Because it's not quite the same thing. I do want to be able to sort of see the underside of them to some degree, because cars are cars. They're not like armour where it's just a flat plate on the bottom.
Yeah.
Oh, you could always just do that classic Dukes of Hazzard pose, broken bridge, mid-air.
Well,
you see the other side then.
you could pose on a car hoist, so that'll give you a look underneath.
I have a hoist. I have a resin hoist.
Oh, there you go.
I just haven't built it.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it's just two pieces of resin that you just put on a base of some kind, right?
Paint either yellow or blue.
Yeah.
But I think that's what my modelling lacks is having the base sort of finishing it off. So that's what I'm going to concentrate on next year. And
so I don't worry that much with aircraft. I don't put aircraft on bases, but when I do armour, for some reason, all my armour kits have to be on bases.
So why don't you do a little sort of hard stand that your aircraft sits on? What prevents you from doing that? And do you think...
Well, for starters, it takes up too much room.
Well, no, because it's not going to be...
Oh, you mean just for photography?
No, for just finishing the model. Because, as I said, my original statement was that...
Yeah, it takes up too much room.
Yeah, especially for aircraft. Because with aircraft, I can stagger them like... I usually have like 2 rows in my cabinet.
Yeah.
And you can stagger them by having the wingtips just behind each other as you put it, and you can fit more kits in your cabinet.
But your wing can extend past the... because the undercarriage is normally a fairly small footprint. So you just do a tarmac just for the footprint of the... Yeah,
but the footprint, when you think about it, is a
and
triangle.
And also with lighting's another thing, Dave, with my cabinet is I've got overhead lighting. So if I start putting large square bases,
second one's
it's going to stop the light going down to the second and third rows.
But your armour, you always put that on a
base.
Detailed base.
I don't know why. It's just the thing I do. It's just, I always have like... And it's not like a diorama base. It's just like a little bit of groundwork to simulate the area it's in, be it winter, summer, spring.
Coming back to context, an aircraft in its context would be in the air.
Yeah.
Whereas a tank is very much a part of the ground.
Well, technically an aircraft spends more time on the ground than it does in the air.
Yes, but you know what I'm saying. I mean,
but it's not built for the ground.
But then you're going to do it with wheels up and a blurred prop.
Yeah, I know. I'm
you want to go down
I'm not that hot on that. I know if Mr. Becker was listening, he'd launch himself at me for saying that. But I'm not even building airplanes at the moment anyway. So it doesn't really matter to me. I'm the last person you would want to use as an example of good conduct for aircraft. But when you put aircraft on a base, it just you end up with so much just blank space.
Okay, but that's fine. But
here's the only time I would consider a base is if it is like a stored or abandoned aircraft. Sitting,
I know exactly what you mean.
I don't mind the idea of you've got the concrete floor and it's got grass growing up between the cracks and all that sort of stuff. And
for me, the only time I would do it is if I was incorporating an aircraft in a diorama.
That
would be it. Otherwise, I'm not going to worry about a base. Look,
naval aircraft.
If I had a different setup, more space, I would probably have maybe make a shelf look like an airstrip. And then put all the aircraft on that. But you'd need to have multiple lighting for your different layers.
But the bases can be just more than just a representation of a tarmac or an airstrip. They can be just a wooden base with the... look at what bases by Bill does. And,
like the manufacturer.
Well, manufacturer, you could have the emblem of the squadron on there, engraved into the wood and all that stuff. Bases by Bill does fantastic stuff.
Yeah.
And what I'm saying is...
But now we're getting away from context, aren't we?
Well, but no, because what I'm saying is it's still displaying the model in a finished state above just building it and just plonking it down on the table without anything.
Yeah, but I still think that's not context though. Because let's say that you were to build a Spitfire and you put it on a big roundel for a base.
Yeah.
That's not context. That's just a base.
But what that's doing, exactly. But it's elevating the model just beyond not having a base to sit it on, isn't it?
I guess.
And that's what I'm saying. I think I need to do is in my hobby.
Okay.
In my part of the hobby is to elevate the models beyond just.
I think some things benefit from bases more than others. Armor, 100%. Aircraft, no.
It's interesting you both think that. I think they do.
You're an odd one, Dave.
Well, no.
Your rockets, I think if there was if you could buy a model of the launch tower and everything like that, that would be really cool.
I think my real space is really crying out for a proper base for them to sit on because they look terrible just sitting by themselves. And I don't think it necessarily needs to have the tower next to it.
Okay.
I think it needs to just... Again, something maybe from bases like Bill, I don't know, I'll have to look around, but it needs something just to sort of lift it a little bit more than...
And what would be really nice would be have a little plate on there with the specifications.
Yeah. I still like to do, an evolution of them, starting with the V2 and sort of moving up through the other ones.
Up to the Saturn.
Yeah, and that'll look... No, you couldn't do the Saturn because it's freaking huge. And
it's all part of the same thing.
No, but in 70-second scale, man, you got no idea.
Oh, the other ones... Yeah, but they're all 70-second scale, so what?
The Saturn...
It'd make the Saturn look really more impressive.
The Saturn 5 is the same height almost as me. And then...
What, 4 foot?
I'm not more than 4 foot. You idiot. It's I have to dig it out. It's close to a 5 foot model. It's really, really tall.
So people will put them in those Detolf cabinets.
Yeah, no, that's why I bought my detail cabinet, so I could put that in when I finally build it.
I think they've discontinued the detail.
No, you can get. They do a different version.
Are you gonna do? I remember seeing someone did one online, and they built it up, and they put all like lit cotton wool underneath it.
Oh, and
I've already got
I've already got the LED with the programming to make it look like it's flaming. I've got all that already.
He's also got all the cotton wool ready to go.
No, I don't. But jeez. Jeez, you're funny, you guys.
It's the last show we can give it to.
Yeah, why not?
I'll get my back next year, especially when all the listeners write in saying that yes, I'm right about the 1/16 scale 11 M113. Anyway, I'm just saying it again. I forgot what I was saying there. Yeah, I need something just to lift the real space rockets a bit more than what they are, because they look boring as proverbial.
What were they launched from?
Stuff.
Were they launched from like a concrete pad with the little sort of thing at the bottom for the blast to come out the bottom?
I don't think they need to be sitting on a real sort of concrete base or representation of what they say. I think they need just a really nice, cool-looking stand that highlights, the wonders of space travel during the 50s, 60s, and 70s.
You mean like the kind of thing
80s.
they will put them on inside?
Actually, no, I reckon it'll look really, really cool.
Mm.
So how tall are those T-False cabinets?
Oh,
The D12 ones.
T-False, yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
about
I don't know, something like
170 centimetres, something like that.
How much room do you have for your Saturn V inside there?
Oh, yeah, I can fit the Saturn V in there.
And how much extra space are you going to have?
Oh,
no, there's no extra space.
no, there is, because what I was going to do...
Because I was thinking if you had like either a foot or half a foot, you could mount it on a proper steel pole with the LEDs and your smoke and so forth underneath it. But when you mount it, don't have it completely straight up and down. Have it slightly angled so it actually looks like it's in mid-flight
Arching,
rather than
yeah.
it's just taken off. That would look pretty spectacular.
I don't think there's enough space in there for you to angle it over.
What, they're really narrow, these cabinets?
No,
They're fairly narrow, so they're like...
Yeah, but that's enough room. I'm not talking about angling like at 45 degrees. I'm talking probably an angle of maybe 5 degrees or something, just a slight, so it's not exactly perpendicular. To me, visually, that would look a lot better.
What is it, Saturn 5, is it?
Yeah, Saturn 5, 70 seconds ago. But then if I was to do cars, I don't think I could do what... I'd have to do cars on some sort of base as well to sort of show them off.
That's all right. I mean, you can do a bit like a small piece of like a road with a gutter, right? Or perhaps
if you wanted to know how to do a roadway, just go to YouTube and check out a Luke Towan video on how he does his roads and just upscale it.
But you can just buy those bases from
or so you can do like
coastal kits.
You can also do like the front of say like 7-Eleven.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean that for Japanese cars, that's the look, right? Having the car parked outside Family Mart or
Whereas
something.
if you're doing like muscle cars, American muscles cars, you could do like something like a diner.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the point too. Yeah. I don't know. I just feel for me that that's where I need to go to take to the next level to sort of build things up a little bit. Have better bases than what I've done before, which is zero, next to zero.
I've often thought that if I was ever going to weather cars, it'd be good to do a little small like diorama of say
a rally car or something.
No, like barn find, like two guys standing in front of like an old shed, and they've got like buried in there is like a dusty Porsche, something along those lines,
Yeah, they look pretty cool actually.
Yeah.
Well, I think I spoke to you about what I...
Now that I've mentioned it, someone will do that.
Did I mention, last episode or the episode before about what I wanted to do with me Daytona Coupe?
Oh, no. You've just
I want to build that in race.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. And so you want like all the stone chips and...
All the stone chips and have fun. And you know what I found? It is so difficult to try and find a
photo
late or mid-60s driver in that scale, seated.
Oh, right.
I looked everywhere, and we found some of the similar, but then I looked at the photos, and yeah, they're different.
You're just gonna have to sculpt your own.
Yeah,
like take something close.
Yeah, and then modify it.
Yeah, break out the green stuff or whatever it is that they use.
But the thing about most of that race for Sebring is 65, I think it was done in the wet, which is going to be a very big challenge to try and recreate. Very big challenge.
All right, I think we'll bring that home, gents.
All right.
Coming up for about an hour and a half now.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to...
of mindless prattling?
Yes. Look, before we finish up, I'd like to wish all of our listeners a very Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Happy Festivus.
Yes. Thank you for all your support and for listening to us over the last 12 months. Thank you to all of our wonderful Patreon supporters who help support the show. And a huge shout out to Scott Taylor for his continuous ongoing support of the show, which we are extremely grateful for, and it certainly helps us along.
Top guy.
Yeah.
And a great dinosaur modeler too.
Well, did you see his latest dinosaur he did?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Amazing.
Yeah. Oh, you froth at the mouth every time you see one.
Yeah, I know. Apparently, he told me some company he gets them through, and it's like, oh, geez, if I had a 3D printer, I'd be just downloading STL files daily and just printing off.
That reminds me, I need to print your Godzilla this summer.
Yes, please. Yes. Just not the new Godzilla. I saw the ads for the new Godzilla and Kong, and for some reason they've gone from blue to magenta, which to me looks really weird.
You're talking about the energy thing on the back.
Yeah, they've gone magenta. It's like, oh, okay. What are they gender specifying Godzilla now?
No, I don't think that's the case. I think it just comes down to like what's considered like a cool color for energy, you know.
Yeah. Mind you, against Ghidorah when he went nuclear and went to that reddish orange glow, that looked really mean. But I still like the classic blue.
Oh, there you go. All right, so
adios, everyone. Thanks for your support and thanks for listening.
Yep. Merry Christmas.
That's it, Julian. Just Merry Christmas.
Oh, come on. I'm not good with these things.
All right, guys. Thanks very much. Actually, we'll be back in a fortnight. So we're not taking a break over Christmas this year. So we'll be rolling back in a fortnight, and we'll be seeing you for season 8. So thanks very much for listening. And that's it from me. Once again, just like to thank everybody for making 2023 such a fantastic year for us. But also, there's a whole host of other fantastic model podcasts out there to listen to. Just go to modelpodcast.com for all the listing of those other fantastic shows, and we highly recommend you go and check them out. Also, don't forget to pop by and have a look at our good friend Clayton Ockerby's YouTube channel, Workbench Hobbies by Clayton Ockerby, a fantastic modeler, and he produces some really great content that we're sure that you'll enjoy. That's it from me, Dave. Again, thank you very much, everybody, and we'll see you in the new year.